Even if you've never touched a guitar before in your life, if you watch this video from start to finish, you're gonna know how to play your first song on guitar. So grab your guitar and let's get into it. The song we're going to be learning today in this video is called A Horse with No Name by America. This is the best song to learn if you're a beginner because it's only 2 simple chords and it repeats the same thing throughout the entire song. Now before I show you what the 2 chords are, you have to have an understanding of what a chord is. A chord is when you play multiple strings at the same time with multiple fingers. So for example, if I play 6 strings, with multiple fingers on those strings, that's called a chord. If I use one finger on this hand and then only pick one string, that's a note instead of a chord. So if I'm using multiple fingers and I'm strumming multiple strings at the same time, that's a chord. The first chord you need to learn how to play for this song is E minor. To play an E minor, you're going to take your index finger and you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string from the top. So we're going to start with our E string, which is that top string, and then move down one more string. That's where you're going to put your index finger and just find the 2nd box or the 2nd fret. After you put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string from the top, now you're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string from the top. So these 2 fingers should be right next to each other. Now with this hand, all you're going to do is you're going to strum all 6 strings at the same time, starting at the top. If it doesn't sound that plain for you at first, that's okay. What you can do is lower your thumb a little bit so that you can shove your wrist out and there should be a gap in between these 2 fingers and the strings. Also, make sure that you're pressing down hard with your 2 fingertips and try not to touch this metal line. Now that we know how to play E minor, let's learn the next chord. To play the next chord from our E minor, we're going to take our index finger, take it off, and just move it up 1 string closer to the top so that it's now on the 2nd fret of the top string. Then we take off our middle finger and we put it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string from the top. In other words, you want to think that when you go from E minor to this next chord, you're staying on the same fret, but you're just moving each finger in a different direction 1 string. Now just like the last chord, we're going to strum all 6 strings with this hand starting at the top. If you made it this far, congratulations, you learned your first 2 chords. The next step, once you learned your first 2 chords, is to learn a strumming pattern so that you can actually make it sound like a song. So you're going to start with your E minor, and with this hand, you're going to strum down, 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 up, down, up. Once you get that strumming pattern memorized, try to repeat that without stopping. Once you feel comfortable with that strumming pattern, then you can move to the next chord. So we're going to practice this starting at E minor, playing the strumming pattern, down, 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 up, and then switching to the next chord, down, 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 up, then switching back to the E minor, down, 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 up, until you get faster. Now, the secret to making this actually sound like a song is that as soon as you're done playing a strumming pattern for 1 chord, when you switch to the next chord, you need to start that strumming pattern right away. So for example, we're going to start on our E minor, play the strumming pattern, and then start right away. In other words, you want to make sure that this hand is never stopping. You never want to keep this hand and have it paused in the middle of the air. By this point, you should have a good idea of the 2 chords that we need as well as the strumming pattern. All we have to do now is speed it up, repeat, and it should sound like this. And bam, just like that, you learned your first song on guitar, and I am proud of you. If you want to learn more songs that are super easy like this, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.